So what's up, guys? How do you feel about the current situation on the market? Me personally, I am feeling great actually because the new opportunities arise, and actually my suspicions and my predictions, they came to life. So definitely I'm in a good mood and I am looking for the new spot buys. And let's make a little update of the market. Let's look at Bitcoin, but not that long and fundamental as we did before, because recently we made a lot of videos with various scenarios in the midterm, long term, and the locals, about the local situations on Bitcoin. Let's look at what happened recently. As you can see, that resistance that I mentioned in the last video, it played out well, precisely at our Kijun resistance and our strong resistance symbiosis of the super trend on the daily and the Kijun together. They worked out as a great resistance here, and we got rejected and finally lost this local trend line that I drew here. I was hoping maybe we will have some local, as you remember maybe from the previous video, that we will have some fake out here and we will retest also the 2018-2017 all-time high, but we didn't, and it makes sense because who knows what is going to happen next, because if we would broke it and on volumes and on hype, we could even break higher and then we would go higher, but that wouldn't make much sense to me, and that would change the situation into a bullish one and would be much difficult to find out where we are going to reverse. And for now we proved that we are continuing our trend, the descending trend, and what we see now here is of course the price stopped here. Why? Because basically we reached the weekend trading session, and during the weekend we do not drop sharply and we do not lose our range that we are trading in the support. So basically I mentioned in my Twitter account recently that I expect us to hold here, somewhere here, and we are going to have some pullback maybe on Sunday. I don't know how high it's going to be, maybe up to 17,000, maybe even 17,400, 500, I don't know, to retest this local trend line. That would make sense to me. And then we would go first for the retest of this mid range as we have it. You know it. We are talking about it all the time for many times, and who knows, maybe we even break it, maybe we'll stop somewhere at $14,000 plus and get a little buyback or bounce, or maybe we are going straight to 12,700 as I was expecting. But no rush with this. We can bleed and chop for a longer time, and because I see some altcoins and they don't look that they have so much room to go much lower. So definitely Bitcoin can deceive us at any point here. As you can see, we've got to watch how the weekly is going to close. Definitely we need it to close below this local trend line, and one retest wouldn't be a bad thing, even a good thing. And we are going lower, and how low, that we will see in the coming days also. So everything goes according to the plan. The altcoins started dumping sharply, even though Bitcoin wasn't going down that bad. We will talk about it a little later. Let's switch to my 2020 chart, trading chart that I shared in my unlikely worst scenario on Bitcoin. And what we see here, the precision of this global trend line and where it got rejected. Right, precisely. It was a great and strong resistance here. So based on what we see here, let's look at the weekly. The precision of this line that lasts from 2019, the trading range and the line that we were forming in 2018, 2019 when we were accumulating here. So, and we respected that line so many times. 2018, 2019, then 2019 local support in bottom here after this move to the upside. Then we broke it, then broke again, reclaimed and respected for the whole 2020 before we took off from it. So definitely this trend line is a strong one. So the question here is, where are we going next? Because this seems to be very risky at the moment. We can go much lower, right at the targets that I mentioned in all of my videos, and I was repeating many times this. So we don't know what is going to happen next, but I'm going to start accumulating either here, as you know it from my previous videos, or if we see the reclaim, then some kind of reclaim. I don't know how that is going to happen. Maybe we even don't go straight to there. Maybe we'll draw something like this, like one leg down, maybe 14 for, and then reclaim, maybe then here rejection here or reclaim here. We don't know what is going to happen next, but this level seems to me like a great, safe, risk-free place to start the recovery from here. Why? Because some altcoins are going to reach their all-time lows, and after this one, if Bitcoin sees here a strong reaction and bounce, these assets will be collected and sent to save them. Some market makers can support a lot of the top assets that reach their all-time lows and try to use this bounce on Bitcoin to send those altcoins higher to save them from the possible Bitcoin's retest of this level and maybe even false breaks of this level, as we were talking about it. Nobody knows what is going to happen next. Everybody is guessing. I am giving you the guesses based on the technical analysis and the market structuring models that I learned from my, from 2017, 2018, my trading and market analysis experience. So you can use that, you can ignore that, but as you can see, for many months, as I have this even channel and not talking about the Twitter account yet, it is going nicely. All my long-term and mid-term macro analysis, it works, and most of the predictions, they come to life, so at a very high probability rate. So definitely this has to be kept in mind. So next, let's look at the first altcoin, the TRON. Let's start with the REN. Why I drew your attention to REN as our basic indicator? It was our indicator, and I, for a long time, since 2021, but I was suspicious and doubtful whether it's still working, because you know that the REN was under control of Alameda Research and FTX, as you can say it. So after their fall off, it was unclear what this asset represents at the moment and whether it's still our indicator or it's simply started to act according to its personal fundamental agenda and the news. So as you can see, you remember this, I share this on my Twitter account. We'll remove the super trend, we'll leave only this daily Kijun resistance. As you can see, we retested our previous some kind of support here, the yellow zone, and I told you here that we probably are going to retest this and get rejected on the daily from this daily occasion resistance, but we didn't, not immediately. We tried to make a false break here, but as soon as we started with the second candle or the daily candle here closing below it, I understood that that was the squeeze and we still are going down. And after I saw this candle, it was a sign for me that Bitcoin, the RAN is going lower, much lower, and at least to retest this support zone, and Bitcoin will follow. And as you can see, the Bitcoin and the altcoins, they followed. So about RAN, I am not looking into investing in it. I am looking at it only as the indicator that we are using, because we approached a very significant level here, long-term level of accumulation, and the level from which we took off and started skyrocketing. So basically, as long as we hold it, we are good. The moment RAN loses it, well, it is going to drop heavily to 3 cents at least, I guess. 3.34 would be a good price to buy, but I am not sure about its future anymore. I don't think it's going to disappear or get scammed, but we have this global trend line. It is going to be to start the new run, and one day it is going to reach these highs, this line. I think so. I believe in that. But this asset is only for trading for me. Okay, let's proceed to TRON. And this was very insightful and helpful for me. If you remember, I was talking about this week that we had to cover for many months. I was talking to you about it, and we finally recovered it, but we left another monthly uncovered. So basically we will have to recover this one too, and we are not sure whether TRON is going to stop there. I am sure that we will recover it sooner or later, these 4.5 cents, but we can even drop even lower to 3 and 2, at least 3.35. Not sure here, but what is clear to me, look at the weekly. This was the level that I mentioned in my Twitter account, in my Twitter post. This was the level of reversal. I was telling you guys who follow me. Let's switch to the lower time frames. Yeah, I was telling you that we either going to reverse here, or we will get to this global trend line and get rejected here and start going lower to cover this uncovered week. Simple. Sooner or later we are coming for it, and it is here. So definitely, if you are in some kind of uncertainty whether you should buy your favorite altcoins you are going to invest in, or to wait for lower prices, definitely I would recommend you to follow TRON. It is highly insightful, and you know that we have to wait, and you will know that at least wait for TRON to cover this week at 4.5. So definitely wait for it. Doesn't matter how it is going to go, it will come here and will recover it at least to this zone, and then you can proceed to your altcoins, and I guarantee they will also be lower than everybody expects even now. So waiting is the key here. Let's take a look also now. Let's take a look at S&P 500. This is what I shared on my Twitter account. My ultimate target here was this line. We kind of reached here 200 moving average, and that's why we bounced. But we are respecting this level, and my ultimate target is somewhere here. We either retest it after this reversal here and get back up and start the ascending movement for S&P 500, but not guaranteed. But this green trend line, the long lasting one, is my top indicator, and I think one day we at least approach it, and we have to be ready for it. This is on my S&P 500 chart. I have one more S&P futures, and it looks kind of even better, even more precise here. As you can see, again, rejection here, rejection. We marked the 200 moving average, recovered, started the recovery. Here is the intersection of resistances here. As you can see, counter trend line, this local trend line that we lost before, we are retesting it. This range resistance level precisely got rejected, that went down. We don't know what is going to happen next, because ideally we have to do something like this at least, and then maybe break it and do like something like that, or we can drop sharper and reach my targets here. But that is kind of seems not very likely at the moment that it is going to be that sharp. That would destroy many assets, I guess. But the reasons, if we turn on our favorite indicators, Kijun Sen Shift and Super Trend, as you can see precisely, Super Trend, Kijun Shift resistance at that same point. As you can see, you know how these indicators work now, what they stand for. So let's remove the Kijun and leave only the Super Trend. And what does it say to us? If you know how the Super Trend works, and whether you don't know, I will remind you here. We found this support. What we did next, we got to the upside, we broke the super trend. This was the hint that probably we are going to change the trend to the ascending one. For that to happen, we needed to retest our super trend support here, and we went for the retest and we failed. We broke this super trend support. We failed. What does it say now? It says that we didn't confirm that we're changing the trend, so we had to retest the super trend resistance to find out whether we are continuing this descending trend, and we went for it, and we didn't break this super trend resistance. This means that the descending trend is continuing, so it makes sense that we are continuing the descending. Logically, according to technical analysis and this indicator, we don't know how fast or how it is going to go here, but definitely we retested and we failed to change the trend here. So definitely further descending of S&P makes sense too. So this is about the S&P 500. What we have to talk about again here, I don't know, the dollar index. As you can see, if you checked my latest analysis and my charts that I shared on my Twitter account about the Dixie, it works out perfectly here, because I mentioned that I expect Dixie to find support somewhere here, and it found it. I even drew this local kind of resistance here, the line that we are holding here, and we probably can break it, retest here, and go for at least, I said, for 106 to retest 106, and ultimately at least retest. If we go further we are going to for 109 on dollar. if we switch on the weekly, you will see this is where is going to be our super trend resistance retest, and that makes sense to go there and retest it. Maybe it will fail, go again, and finally maybe lose our global trend line that we are holding and running since 2021. And if we lose it, then it is the sign for me to prepare for the descending of the dollar index and price and value on the markets. If we break it, then we will talk about it later, but I assume that probably we will not break the 109, and that makes sense. That would make buy us some time for Bitcoin to continue to descend to our estimated and assumed targets that we mentioned, 14,200 to 12,700. Who knows? But that makes sense to me. This retest of dollar would make Bitcoin and S&P to go lower and find the new lows, and great opportunities for us to buy and accumulate on spot, and then start the recovery I don't know, at the beginning of the 2023, maybe even a little bit later in spring, who knows. But these indicators together, they all make sense to me, and I hope it makes sense to you. What about MINA? MINA, I mentioned it at my Twitter account. It is holding this, it broke this counter trend line, local counter trend line, or midterm, whatever you call it. And after that, we got back, and we have some kind of descending wedge here, as you can, if you can see. I don't know whether we draw it like this. We have this descending wedge where we I don't know if it well seen, but this descending wedge makes sense to me at the moment until we didn't break it. And I even shared this scenario on my Twitter account that we are going to get back to it. We held this resistance. Wait a little bit. I don't like this chart. Yeah, we have a clearer one already. It was already drawn here. As you can see, we are approaching what I mentioned in my Twitter account and my post about MINA. We had to break at least this resistance, and I showed you the Kijun and super trend resistance here. I was telling you that if we didn't break this local resistance, we are not going for the retest of this Kijun resistance, so we are going for the retest of this support, this falling wedges support. And there are two scenarios here. We either hold it and start recovering here, and probably we either get rejected again, or we will break it and reclaim finally and get above this descending wedge, so we start pumping maybe even to $1, who knows. But if we lose it, it is not a very good situation, and I mentioned that maybe I will sell my holdings that I bought from 58 cents of MINA here, and if we would come here for the retest and failed, got rejected, I would sell it here and would wait for us to retest at least this line. And maybe even if I see the successful retest, I would rebuy here. If we fall lower, I am going to buy at 35-37 cents. This is my target, where I expect the price. If we lose this line, I'm expecting it to come there, at least to those lines. And I'm not talking about the further movements, but we didn't go for this retest, so definitely I didn't sell my MINA that I bought at 58 cents. I'm going to hold it. This is the project I kind of believe in, so I expect it to have a good run when the time comes. So basically 58 cents, even if it goes to 37, 35, doesn't matter to me. It won't matter in the future if this coin actually gives something that we all, the MINA community and I, expecting from it. So definitely holding, and will buy even more if reaching my target there, and hold there. So let's look at the Ethereum. The very dangerous situation with Ethereum here. We were watching how we have this global counter trend line, this midterm line, also the resisting line here. So we didn't want to know what to expect. It kind of reminds me of FTX before it got scammed. FTX's FTT token had the same structure here. It was holding and chopping this global trend line it has here. It was chopping it nicely and for a long time, holding it so many times here. As you can see, let's look at it. Held here again, held here again, got chopping it here, but this is a great set of resistances here. Also, as you can see, again, super trend and Kijun daily symbiotical resistance here. This is a strong resistance here. So definitely we needed to feel this rejection. What is going to go next, we don't know, but that doesn't look good. Doesn't look good to me, and I expect 900 at least. I don't know, it seems like we have to come even to 600. A lot of people expect it, and we have this global trend line. Who knows how long the bear market is going to last? And I told you many times, it can go as long as it gets to shake out a lot of people before they will send it, and a lot of smart and big money from the traditional world have to onboard, and they want to buy. They are like us, they want to buy as low as possible, but of course, and they will create such narrative and situations on the market by making insolvent some top crypto firms, and keeping the regulation and other narratives to continue the and to exaggerate all this market and all the newcomers and those people who don't understand how the money flow and the crypto trading works. So I'm not telling you that we are coming to 600 and 700 here, or even lower. I don't know that, but definitely what I know that it is very likely that we will reach this level somewhere here. Let me draw it to you. It is very likely that we will reach and recover this candle, uncovered one. Yes, that would be precise for me, because we are getting so pushed to these resistances, and we are getting too close to it. So at some point we will get forced to get squeezed through it, and maybe start accumulating here, trading through this level, maybe even go lower. Nobody knows, but at some point maybe we will reclaim this trend line. But before that, we have to squeeze to the downside, recover at least this this uncovered red wick, and start some if we hold it, start the journey of breaking this set of resistances. We have to do that. Maybe we will feel this one too here and get rejected, maybe reclaim it, then we will break it. So definitely the situation with Ethereum has to be evolved yet. We are not done with it, with the descending, I think, on Ethereum. So basically that's it. Be careful with it. Okay, let's proceed to other altcoins. So ALGO, a lot of people were hyped about ALGO, but it is kind of clear to me. It was clear to me the moment we drew this weekly, not only this weekly, we drew this monthly, and this is not a bullish, a bearish, more of a bearish, that we have to descend further and draw another similar candle to the downside, and that makes sense. We have uncovered monthly here, so this target made sense to me. And as you can see, I made a tweet here on Twitter, how about 11-14 cents for ALGO, and we are close to it now, that more than ever. We have this local support, further former resistance, and now support that is being that is holding it. Yes, we can do this. We can some kind of pump from here and then expand for the lower prices, but I wouldn't buy it. I don't know, more expensive than 12 cents. 10-14 cents is a good buy opportunity, at least for the bounce. This is how the market works. You have to take those, and you better put your. We will have this reaction when we reach this price, this support, this global support. The reaction of the price is going to happen. Whether we break it abruptly here in a moment, this level, we will be bought back very quickly. The reaction of this level is going to happen. So if you are not sure whether you will have enough conviction and emotions to execute when the time comes, then you should place limit orders at these levels, like 11, 10, 56. Place a limit order, and you will for the spot buy, and you will see what is going to happen. Because usually when we see big spilling candles, we do not do that because we are scared that it might go even lower. And here I will give you some example of mine from yesterday when Phil got dumped by 30%. As you can see it, what happened here, because a lot of people told that some digital currency group, they are giving away their and selling their assets, and Phil is one of them. Also there are other top assets like Near there, so that it doesn't come to me as a surprise that Near gets sold off too, and I mentioned it on my Twitter account. So before I was fighting for this $5 level, and I even bought at $4.98. I reported it on my Twitter account. We went for a rally a little bit. Yes, that's nice, but I work according to my mechanics, even when we are talking about spot buys on the bear market. I buy it in a good spot. I'm finding a successful positioning. I bought at $4.98. Oh, we even have this mentioned on my chart, and I was holding. The moment the price reacted from this important support level, so the price reacted, and the moment it reacted and got safe, it pumped a little bit higher. I placed my stop loss at the entry, so if the price comes back to $4.98, it is going to sell it, and we usually do. And I mentioned that we can do that because the Bitcoin is still not doesn't look bullish and confident, and we had this uncovered week here, so I had it. The price dumped and it triggered my stop loss at entry. No big deal. So I was expecting the price to expand and slide upon this, at least slide upon this local trend line that we are having, the channel that we have here too. As you can draw it to use this one, draw an additional, and it would make sense here, and you can add even one here. So why did, and in my even previous Filecoin analysis videos, I mentioned about the possibility, I don't know where the price of Filecoin is going to end up and find its bottom, but what I knew is that the final bottom I am interested in is $240, $250, $2.40, $2.50. And this is where I placed my, after we lost that support at 498, I placed my buying order in advance, limit order. I placed it at 245 and I forgot about it. And tomorrow when I saw this dump, when even Bitcoin didn't dump that much, a little bit even, but the alts started to dump heavily, and I saw that Filecoin was minus 30%, and I got scared because I recalled that I had my order that placed there. I started to check it, and I find out that it got filled fully, but at the time I looked at it, I saw that the price of the Filecoin was already somewhere 265 to 70. So I decided, wow, if I wouldn't place that limit order upon this important zone, I wouldn't place it at all because I would be scared at that moment. But when I analyze and make decisions and place condition or order before the price comes there, I have my targets, I calculated them, I knew that there is going to be some kind of reaction from that price, from that support level. So definitely I put a buy order in advance, and as you can see, it got successful at the moment, of course, but it was clear to me that we are not going to dump a little bit lower because we are on the weekend and we are not dumping during the weekend like the free fall. So basically today is Saturday, we are closing like this. So if we close green, there's possibility for us to go higher, and I put immediately after we bounce here to 280, I even put my stop loss here to sell that if we get below 235. So now what I am expecting, definitely there's possibility we got an encouraged week and we will get to retest it. So, but we don't know what is going in what the order we are going to reach those prices. So basically, if we stop here like this with this pin bar, we start retest it and start a recovery during Sunday, and we reach some kind of 350, 370. There is going to be a strong resistance here, and I would sell there all my fill. Definitely, I am not believing that we are going to reclaim it. That's not it. We can stop dumping even right away, and I am going to watch what is going to happen next here, whether we are going to hold this line and defend it, this strong global support. But definitely if we come to 350, 370, I'm going to sell all my fill and will with profit, and all this profit I'm going to use to buy more fill when we come back to 240, 245 again, and I will place a limit order before that again, and I'm going to be safe and won't be worrying about nothing here because I already made profit on it. And even if it starts squeezing a little bit lower here, trying to find the support and defense, then probably I will be safe because I already profited from it. So this is about Filecoin, and this is about the lesson of the importance to find out your targets the resistance and support targets when you are going to buy or sell before the price comes to them, because you will be so emotional that you won't be able to buy whatever you were supposed to buy at the levels that you set for yourself. So definitely you have to listen to yourself and put your orders in advance and let the math and the technical analysis, the flow mechanics work for you. This is my message. What about NEAR? Let's talk about NEAR now. So this is the situation that I was talking about. As you can see, all those global trend lines, they worked precisely as resistance, support here. This re-high zone was very important to me. I was talking about all this year of 2022. I was talking about that I believe that that NEAR is going lower. That is before the situation, long before the situation with FTX and other Genesis and other firms related to NEAR. I was talking about when we were here and again here and here. I was talking about that I'm expecting the price eventually to come 165, 170, 180, and probably I'm going to buy here. But when we came here, the situations, I know that NEAR community has some debt left on the FTX. They lost, I don't know, 15-20 million. Not that much for a company like this, for a blockchain which has 500 million investment fund to invest their ecosystem projects for the coming years. So they should have seemed alright. And I bought here some at 152, expecting for some bounce. We got it to 186, but I didn't sell. The moment we pumped here a little bit, I put my, as usual, traditional, that's the mechanic that I work at. I am good at right positioning and safe positioning usually, especially on spot. And when the price comes in my direction and I'm a little bit safe, I put the stop loss or sell order, conditional sell order at my entry, and I'm feeling safe. It doesn't matter if it goes further up, then I'm safe and I will sell somewhere at the resistances or somewhere here upon the resistances. If it doesn't go where everybody is expecting or whatever, I'm not suffering any losses. I have the stop loss at entry and it was triggered. I'm not even frustrated. It is even better that I would be able to buy more when we go lower. The problem is to find out where is that lower, because that digital currency group alongside with Phil, they started distributing their NEAR coins, so definitely NEAR can even go lower. So this re-high point may not even work now, but it soothes my soul that I found out that it comes here much earlier than everybody else. Everybody else didn't even think about it. And earlier, when I already bought here, I started to found some analysis about the NEAR ecosystem, and I looked at some projects that their NEAR ecosystem fund were investing in it, and I looked at it, and most of them looked like scams or some I don't know, projects, startups, blockchain crypto related products and startups that don't have even some kind of community even. And most of them look like the Solana ecosystem. There were on the hype during the bull run. A lot of companies were created, and now they look that a lot of them lost their developers. As you can see, if you checked out the stats on the Solana ecosystem, a lot of projects, a lot of developers left Solana blockchain, and the ecosystem in general. We don't know whether that is what is going to happen, or they are going to scare the people out before the next bull run, so the people would repeat the mistake they did with Ethereum in 2017-2018 when they didn't buy Ethereum because everybody was scared that it is not going to perform as good as Bitcoin. But as you can see, we don't know what the game is happening, but we know that near is up to going lower, and my targets here, I don't know where the targets is. If we look at the profile, volume profile, we see a lot of orders. The zone of interest is, and of volumes, is around 19 cents and 90 cents and $1.08 and even $1.18. We don't know where the price is going to stop, but I would consider buying around 90 cents. I will try at least. I don't know whether we will come to 50-55 cents. It is also possible, but I think I will try to get on board at 90 cents, 95. I don't know where we will see some signs of support, strength, don't know. Will depend on Bitcoin, of course, too, but definitely, again, we are retesting this re-high, an important zone that I mentioned many times in my previous videos. This is an important zone too, but given the situation, there is opportunity to go lower here and find some 90 cents, 95, don't know, somewhere there. So I would risk buying there, and we'll see where it leads me. We'll make any updates on my Twitter account, so go follow if you want to be updated on my vision and market analysis. So let's look at the Litecoin. As you can see, if you followed my previous videos, I was talking about this uncovered week, and we know that a lot of hype around the Litecoin lately, because they have less than 300 days, they have their halving even before the Bitcoin. So definitely it was an asset of interest. And as you can see, we have this global trend line. It was nice. We tried to reclaim this trend line as support again and start running, but definitely we have an uncovered week here. It doesn't mean necessarily that we will come back to cover it, but I mentioned that there is a possibility of that. There is a possibility, not guaranteed, and I said that if we would come to $25-30 to even up to $35 zone, I would buy Litecoin for the coming halving and other stuff. But I had this even local counter trend line here, the pink one here, and what did I do here? Exactly, I drew it, and I was telling you that I'm going to short when it comes to it. The first short was successful. As you can see, right upon it we got rejected significantly. I took some profit, not a big one, not this whole rejectional candle, but definitely I took some profit. And next time we came here, I expected us probably to break this global counter trend line, but as you can see, I will show you now, there was my mistake, trading mistake, and we have to make the work on that mistake. Let me at least find it. Yes, I found it. This is where I was trading, and again, when we reached this counter trend line on the 4-hour time frame and got rejected right upon it, this is where I was expecting for us. I was expecting for us to go a little even higher, but before that I was expecting to make a little retest of this zone of 67 as I was claiming on my Twitter account, and I took the short after I saw rejection here on the lower time frames. And as you can see, it will be higher. Yes, it's hard to find on an hourly time frame, but this is what I saw, this one, and this rejection candle. And what did I do? I took a short here, and my entry was 70.22, and I was expecting the lower end retest of 67, and I was holding this short position, and we were trying to go lower here at 68, even 38, but I was expecting my 67 take profit, but instead of it I was holding I was looking at higher time frames. So after we had this 4-hour time frame closing, it was not what I expected. It was not that bearish here. So what I do when the candle is not that precise, if it's kind of uncertain, I start reducing to the lower time frames, and 3 hours time frame always can help you with that. As you can see, great candle here with the possibility of going lower to retest my 67 zone. But the next one, before the 4-hour time frame situation developed, we had this 3-hour time frame pin bar, green pin bar closing, and that was the sign for me that probably we are not going to 67, at least right now. Why? Because after this green pin bar, we had to retest the higher zones, at least to retest them. So definitely I got a little bit suspicious. I wanted to place stop loss at entry as I usually do, but I thought that my entry is too close here, and we probably can squeeze me and then get retested here and get squeezed back under, and I will lose my position here. So I will be out of position by that time. So definitely I placed my stop loss above this 71.30, above this week, and of course I got a little bit squeezed here, but suffered a little loss. But that is the lesson for you guys. If the candle on a higher time frame doesn't look very good, we are descending or degrading to the lower time frames, and there we will find some more information. Here I found on 3-hour time frame, when I saw this 3-hour time frame with the green, it was the sign that we are not going to my target immediately, that we will have some bounces to the upside for the retest. So if you've noticed something like this when you hold a short or long in the opposite position, if you see that, be careful and place your stop losses at entry or at the safe loss point. I didn't suffer that much here, but it felt kind of stupid that I entered here. But we all make mistakes, no big deal, but that was a lesson I wanted to share, and it is important. I think it's important. And then when we already ascended to this zone, another leg up, it has become to me clear that I made a mistake, because on the monthly I didn't see a clear thing. What didn't I see? That here we have on the monthly strong Kijun resistance. Look at it, and we got rejected right upon it. If you would open a short, this is where I should have placed my short at $85, and this is where would I be getting at. Of course, would have to hold it a little bit, but or at least take the profit at 674. But definitely it was the sign for me. Now we are retesting this global trend line, counter trend line that we broke here, and I don't know whether we are going back to $28.5 or $30. I don't know. it is not clear yet, but what is clear, it would be possible here, because if we lose this global purple trend line, then if we close below it, then probably we'll get retesting, sliding upon this global trend line and lower and lower. I am kind of confident that we'll cover this one this week at $48. So I think $48 is possible totally. I don't know what about the 30, 28, 25. So we can slide it, get expansions, and eventually we can end up here. Eventually can have that, but not guaranteed. We can find something like this and break it and find some strength. So trade accordingly, but keep in mind the opportunity of getting back to $30. Not do not ignore that. Okay, guys, let's switch to other. Oh, an interesting situation here on HBAR. Look how obediently the counter trend line, the midterm counter trend line works here. And we have this global one, and the target that I placed, that I would buy it at $3 or 3 cents or 2.85 would no, $3 3 cents. I told somebody that who asked me that 3 cents would be fine, and there is a high probability that we are coming for it. As you can see, we got approached again towards this counter trend line, this midterm counter trend line, and we got significant rejection here. Let's look at the indicators. They were a little bit higher, but if we would broke them, we would probably remain, we would slide upon it, but we would probably remain above, and we would reclaim it and go to the upside. But we felt this rejection very precisely here, so there is the opportunity here to, if we get retested and get lower, then it is a great opportunity to buy Hedera hashgraph coin, HBAR or HBAR, whatever you call it. So that would be a great opportunity for me, or for everybody, who knows. So yeah, and even on the monthly perspective, that would make sense too. And this line would be very helpful with your longs. The moment we break it, you can open your longs and hold it, rejection, take profit, then retest, and especially upon retest, when we reclaim it, we find the retest. This is a huge opportunity to open the long, and it is going to the upside. This would be a huge support if we break it, reclaim it, retest it, and then it would be a huge opportunity. So draw this counter trend line and follow it. It will help you with your spot and long positions. Let's look at the BNB. Oh, this is where we came to. This at the end of November, I shared after this candle, I told you that we might have some pullbacks, the attempts to pull back, and we will be back to this line, and we kind of almost got to it, to this global trend line, and we are holding it nicely. So definitely keep that in mind, guys. So because this looks, we have an uncovered wick here, so eventually we can, I don't care about the FOD, I don't know whether it is true or not. The situation is here, and I told you that we will need some narrative to drive BNB lower, because we have an uncovered situation and space here, and also we have, I don't know, and I'm not buying it. I was suggesting everybody to buy it when it was 2018, 2019, 2020. So now it is too late for me, for everybody. I mean, this coin is not interested to me, and also because of this untraded situation, we can, if we lose, eventually we lose this trend line, we will definitely, If we lose it, we will go to $120 at least. 120. I'm not talking about lower prices, but that would be not a good situation. So I'm not interested in BNB, only if, and even now, even in shorts, not interested. But be vigilant and follow closely, because the situation with this blank space, untraded space, is not good. Not for me, not for according to the technical analysis and how the market structuring works. Also, let me get back a little bit to NEAR. Why I am thinking the NEAR can go lower, because as you can see, let's look at the NEAR Bitcoin, and the weakness of NEAR towards Bitcoin is quite significant and noticeable here. So we dropped below this global trend line here, as you can see, and I told you that we had, as you can see three black arrows here, three black crows set up here, and usually it says what? It says like on Bitcoin at the beginning of 2022 or the end of 2021. What was I saying? That we had three black crows, and it works out in several ways. We either, after the three black crows, we either get some kind of recovery, 1 or 2 candles, and then we get back to fulfill to continue this setup, to the play out of this setup. Or we start with the fourth candle, we start another descending, either here or even to this zone. This is what is going to happen. And this time, kind of, it looks that we are choosing the scenario with immediate play out of this setup. So definitely we lost, and it is clear that we will close with under this global trend line. So definitely now we can retest this as resistance and get back to the, at least to this initial support zone. So this is why I'm not bullish about NEAR yet, at least yet. Let's look at Polkadot. It is easy here. Look at, we have support here, support in global line here, but we also have this channel that I'm holding, and I was telling you, if you follow me on Twitter, that would make sense. After this candle, monthly candle, we have another candle that will fulfill this setup, and technically that would be a great spot to buy for me. For example, we can swing lower and higher, but 350, 370, 390 is going, in my opinion, is maybe even we break to $3 here. I don't know, 310, 320. I don't know how low it can get. I don't think we are getting $3 even immediately. So 350, 370, 380 is a good buy for me. We are reaching this support and get reaction anytime. So it doesn't matter if you buy looking into buying Polkadot on spot, definitely buy here, and the 350 380 zone, it won't be a mistake. We will have the reaction from it, and then we probably retest this counter trend line. We either find it as resistance and get rejected, retested, and then we'll finally break it and start something like this. So definitely this is the zone where I would buy, and my orders are already there. So it is my personal expectation here. What else about the TVT? Well, it dumped enough after I was expecting it to retest here. I didn't take this short, unfortunately. I was expecting some kind of break here, but I explained the situation with TVT in my Twitter account. I had some posts. We had this global trend line. Let's proceed to the 4-hour time frame, and it looks precise here. local trend line support, and we had, once we lost this trend line, primary trend line, global midterm trend line, we were swinging under it with some local breaks, but back under it. So I was expecting maybe we'll probably retest here, and I was expecting to enter here with my short, but we didn't do that. We felt this monthly resistance very clearly, and it was one of my reasons too. I was telling in my tweet that if we would break this this previous monthly high, we will probably proceed to the higher prices, but as you can, the current, it was at that time it was a green candle, and it didn't look like the one that is going to send higher. So definitely I missed this opportunity, but I was sharing it. I was expecting after this first dump, I was expecting us to, I was using Kijun Sen and Super Trend on lower time frames, so I was expecting the price to bounce back from here to 2048, 2054, 2052, and I had some at 251, 252. I had my orders set there for the shorts, and I was expecting even to watch closely the 248 zone, but we didn't get there. The FUD around the Binance and all its related ecosystem coins and assets played out not in my favor, so I didn't get this short. But as you can see, it marked all my targets. Oh my god, I didn't see that before. I saw this one. I didn't know that tonight we broke to my ultimate targets. And it makes sense. We had to cover all this untraded zone, so it is logical. So what is going to happen next? We have to figure it out, because the weekly closes, most probably we are going to start the pumping. I don't know whether we will go lower immediately or we will stop pumping, because it would make sense to me during the next week to start pump, retest it, and get squeezed even lower. That would make sense, and we would come to this global trend line that I was telling you before when I saw this candle, this absorbing candle. So that would make sense to me completely. Retest, I don't know how high it is going to happen here, but there is a huge opportunity here after this red candle to see another one that is going to be even destroying one with the current situation. You can see it. Yeah, there's great possibility. This asset is kind of dangerous at the moment. I wouldn't buy it. So if you would extend this counter trend line local here, that would make sense. If we broke even to the this triangles line, we will have to cover it sooner or later, and covering it we will need to jump under this. So when we jump under this, and if we do not get bought back immediately within a week and close above it, we will definitely be back to the trend line that I was mentioning months ago, when I didn't know yet that we will be strong, we'll hold it, and we'll reclaim it. But I mentioned the possibility of it, but I was expecting kind of retest of this line first. So definitely this is at the moment a very dangerous asset. I wouldn't get into it. So let's look at CRV. CRV looks great, and this is where I'm going to place my orders to. I'm going to buy at 31 cents, 32, I don't know, somewhere there. 32 cents would be great. We felt this global local counter trend line many times, so now it means, yeah, even based on the monthly, it makes sense to retest it. We will have a reaction here whether you like it or not. So 30, 31, 32 cents is a good spot buy, at least spot. we don't know what is going to happen next, whether if Bitcoin goes heavy, gets heavy and starts dumping, maybe we'll break this global all-time low of CRV here, but I don't know. But for now, I think the initial reaction from this level is going to happen. So if you place an buy order here, even if we have some local break, it will be back and we will get for the retest of this counter trend line at least. So definitely you either will be good with a good buy, you will double your from your entry. If you see rejection here, you will be able to sell and see some other retest and see how that retest is going on. If it happens to hold it and strong, you will rebuy here more CRV, and we are going further. We don't know what is going to happen first and how it is, but these are the mechanics and how they work for me, and good, as you can see from Phil. So definitely I would buy here. Okay, we are having this, and also DYDX. I don't know what about DYDX. I told you that this is a bearish candle, green candle, and I was telling you on my Twitter account, I posted that I am expecting from this level rejection and we are going lower, and we had one, tried to recover a little bit, but then we are heading into our $1.05 zone of support, global support. Here we don't know whether we go lower. I didn't buy first time, the second time we reached it. Why? Because it seems like a very popular and very good asset and DEX, but each time it approaches it, I look at its tokenomics and the way that its supply and how many unlocks they have in the every month, and how low is the circulating supply, and that they have some other test net coming up in the next year. So definitely this is not very convincing to me. So I don't think we are holding this level, but I'm going to buy. I think the reaction is going to happen. I would buy at $1 or $1.05 here and see the reaction. If the reaction is strong, then probably I will hold. But if we will come the fourth time to retest this zone, there is an 80% probability that we will break it and go lower. So definitely we've got to be very careful with this asset, but buying it at global support is worth it unless Bitcoin starts falling immensely. So definitely look into it and have it in mind. The same situation here. Vulcan Forged was trying to run here, and I drew this local trend line. We lost it, retested successfully, went lower. And I explained in my previous video about gaming tokens, so I'm expecting it to fall. I don't know whether it is going to fall that low to 125, 127, but definitely starting from 150, maybe even higher, I don't know, 150, 160, I would consider buying it. Very promising projects, gaming project, but yeah, there's high possibility it comes to 150, 130. So definitely not buying it higher than that. And the promises of the runs are good, actually, in the coming of the return are very good. If we find support here, yeah, $20, $19, very good return for the believers on this asset. Also looking at the wild, I don't know where is going to be its bottom, but it kind of looks convincing here at the moment, for now at least. We can draw this local counter trend line. So basically, if we retest successfully and then 15 cents, I would buy there if we would retest it. But actually, this is a very, very risky asset, but I explained it to you that it is added on Bitfinex and KuCoin. when Bitfinex is listing gaming tokens, they probably know something. Usually, I don't guarantee that, but and the project looks promising, and they are constantly developing, but we still do not have the end product. So definitely I want to risk it. It is for me, for the guy who has the opportunity of has some spare money, the risky money that made from the trading profits, and I use them to invest in some risky assets that can give me some high returns. So definitely I will try this one if I get a good retest and opportunity. So it is only up to me. So I think it is enough. If you if you need some to analyze some other coins that I didn't mention, tell me that in the comments. And